Hi guys, here I'm going to make some what I like to call cave bars. They're energy bars or snack bars or meal replacements depending on how you want to use them and the size that you make them. They've got no refined sugar, they've got all natural ingredients, you can see exactly what's going in, and I'm going to show you my recipe for it. Okay, basically you start off with a trail mix. Trail mix is a mix of seeds, nuts and dry fruit. So in my one I'm going to put some raisins, and always check the labels to make sure they haven't added sugar. Unfortunately you'll get ones like these which say they've got vegetable oil. That's not too bad, but I'd prefer it if we just had sun-dried raisins, but I couldn't find any at this time. So I've got some raisins, I've got this Omega sprinkle, and it's a mix of seeds. So we've got here pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds and linseeds. So some good stuff going on in there. Got some toasted coconut. If you can get shredded coconut, it ends up, the end result is a lot sweeter. So it's just based on your preference. Got some cacao nibs here. So we've got a hit of chocolate. Got flax meal, sorry. It's just a mix of flaxseed, almonds, Brazil nuts and walnuts. We've got Brazil nuts and almonds going in, so we've got powdered version as well, just because the powder helps to bind the end mixture together. We've also got some dates, and dates will give it that chewy, soft texture. So that is the trail mix, that's all the dry ingredients. As for the wet ingredients, we've got here some almond butter. You'll notice there's a lot of almonds going in, so don't put that many of these in, otherwise it'll end up being a really fatty bar. So we've got some almond butter, we've got some coconut oil here, we've got some vanilla extract, some honey, and that is the main ingredient to bind it all together. If you can get raw honey, that would be even better. And got some agave nectar, which I use because I have such a sweet tooth, I need to sweeten up this. So that's the wet and dry ingredients, so I will now show you how to make them. Okay, so here are our wet and dry ingredients. These are the dry ingredients: the raisins, the dates, coconut, cacao nibs and the Brazil nuts and almonds. So with the nuts I just chopped them all up. And these are what the cacao nibs look like. They're literally just roughly ground up cacao beans, and this is just shredded and dried coconut that's been lightly toasted. For the wet ingredients, we've got here some honey, and somewhere around there some agave as well, vanilla extract, coconut oil, which is solid at room temperature but with heat goes liquid, and the almond butter. The almond butter, if you've never tried it before, it is exactly the same taste and texture as peanut butter. It's actually really nice. Obviously you can't have peanuts being on the paleo diet, so that is a really good substitute. You can use it as a substitute for butter if you have paleo bread, and also a substitute for butter and oils in baking. So what we're going to do with the wet ingredients, I've preheated my oven as well because we've got to bake these. Just going to heat these up just until the coconut melts. With the nuts, most people like to toast these before. If you want to, then just do it for 10 minutes, not even that, on a flat baking sheet on some foil. The reason I'm not is because I'm going to bake these ingredients for 10 minutes after they're combined, and I don't want to overcook the nuts because when too much heat's been applied, then they have healthy fats at the moment, they start producing the unhealthy trans fats, so they become really unhealthy and really fatty once you've cooked them too much. So let's see how this is doing. I'm just going to get a whisk. That's starting to melt already. Just hot enough for us to combine all the ingredients together. And that is really fast. Just got to wait for that last bit of coconut to melt. And that's it. So turn that off, take it off the heat, make sure it's all stirred in. And then what we do now is just combine the two, and I might need 2 hands for this. Okay, so I've put them all in the bowl. I've also added the flax meal, so let's just stir that in quick. Okay, then we take the wet ingredients and just pour them over. And then combine. It's a really, really easy recipe, relatively quick. So what I do, I make a batch of these, and then I actually have only been having them for the past week. I was experimenting with a couple of ways to make them, and I've been taking them into work as my afternoon snack because I have quite a long gap. I try and stick to 3 meals a day, but there's quite a long gap between lunch and dinner, so to stop me getting too hungry and grabbing some junk food or something, I just have these, and they've actually been really filling me up, so it's really good. And you've got some really good nutrients in there. Okay, so that's all done. Next, what you want to do, now this is too big for my needs, but it's square, and I want square bars. You can do them in any shape you want. Just put it into an oven-proof dish. If you don't want to cook these and you want to keep these raw, well, I say raw, I think some of the ingredients have been cooked already, but if you want to keep them as they are, then you just form them and then put them into the fridge or freezer. If you want to put them in the freezer, just put them in there for about 20 minutes and then they'll just firm up. If you want to bake them like me and have it combined a lot better, so the honey is a bit less sticky, then put it into this dish and then stick it into the oven for about 10 minutes on 200 degrees. And these should turn out great. I'd also like to mention my friend Holly, who I work with. I suggested these bars to her because her and her boyfriend work out a lot. So these are good as a post-workout pick-me-up. All the energy that you need. Okay, depending on how thick you want the bars, just spread this mixture out. And just flatten it all. All nicely packed in. So we have bars that are relatively uniform, and here I am making 4 bars, so I'm going to be cutting them across the width there. Okay, so all I'm going to do is put this in the oven for about 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes, depending on how they look, and then I will show you what they're like when they're done. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. It's been in there for about 10 minutes. I forgot to put the seeds in, so I've just sprinkled some of the linseeds over the top. I wouldn't bother cutting this just yet, as it's so hot, all of the liquids have made it go really soft. You need to let it come to room temperature and it will solidify and bind together a lot more. So this is all done really. All you have to do is just push it together, make sure it's all packed in tightly still, and then we'll come back and cut that up when it's at room temperature. Okay, so we're back to what was supposed to be the paleo bars. The reason I'm showing you the mistake I've made is because I want to show you can still salvage it into something really tasty. Now, the issue I had is I have put too much coconut oil into the mixture, so it was too soft to bind together. With less of that and more of the honey, it would have stuck together perfectly. I'd done it last week and it was completely fine. So what I've done, I forgot to add some cinnamon earlier, so I've added that in now, and I've mixed this all together, and instead of having paleo bars, I now have Paleo granola. So this is all really nice and nutty, and you've got some of the fruits, the dried fruit going on as well. It's really tasty. I've just tried some. You've got all the right flavours going on. All you need to do, you only need a small serving, probably about the same size as you would for a bar. So that amount is maybe a little bit more, is quite decent. You've got all the calories you need in there. And then right here I have some almond milk, anything dairy free. When I say dairy free, I don't mean soya. Soya is not good for you. It's not paleo because it comes from a bean, and you're not allowed beans on the paleo diet. Also, if you have any hormone issues, anything with your thyroid or your ovaries, soya products can wreak havoc with your hormones. So I have almond milk here. You can also use coconut milk, but I think because we're going with a nutty theme, almond milk is good. And you don't need a lot, just pour a little bit of that over. And then you've got a nice breakfast. And this will store in the fridge. If you put it into a freezer bag or something and then in the fridge or in a bowl covered up with some foil, then you've got quite a few days breakfast there. And that's got all of the essential nutrients and vitamins that you need, all from the nuts. You've got some sugar there to give you some energy in the morning, and some great flavour as well. So there you go, just to prove to you, even if you do make a silly mistake in the kitchen, you can salvage it. Thanks for watching.